the computer. Hey, we got matching hats. Let's go. Self-Perfected represent. Best group
Where'd you get
in
that
the
hat
world.
from, bud? Where'd you get that
Bro,
hat?
I don't even remember. This is old. Don't worry. Self-Perfected store is coming back online.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. I hear there's going to be self-perfected merch at the event.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true?
Oh, it's true. Ooh. I don't know if we're going to have like yoga pants and like we got blankets and stuff. That's a little bit extreme.
Okay.
But we'll for sure have the basics. High quality shirts.
Nice.
Women's bikinis. We actually have those.
Hey. That's
hey,
cool.
We talk about high quality in-person connections. Nothing beats wearing a bikini to high quality connect.
That's right. So if you want to see Mitch in a bikini, come to the event.
I will not be wearing a bikini. Only women are allowed to wear bikinis, and only true women, not those who identify as women. Okay.
We will be in California.
We will be in California. I look forward to seeing everyone there. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Hey, make me a co-host on this.
Okay. No speedos. No speedos. I agree, Sean. No speedos.
Sean's got the right idea.
Sean's got the right idea indeed. Sean's gonna be teaching us lessons on working out. He'll be on the beach, doing his flexing.
Oh.
Hey, we can. Be out there with the old guys.
Yeah. We're gonna have a big workout party. We got a lot of people that are into lifting. So
is that so?
Yeah. Drake, we're gonna see you benching 450 pounds.
No, you're not. You're gonna see me lying down. That's what you're gonna see.
On the bench.
On the bench, exactly.
What up, y'all? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the party. We'll start in a moment. Should have refilled my water. Too bad. We're in it to win it now.
Oh man, that's it. I remember when I used to play football. Man, they would not let us drink water the entire time.
That's horrible.
And mostly, I mean, that'd be okay if I lived maybe in a more northern state, right? We live in Florida, and
they didn't let you have water. They only let you have Gatorade. This episode brought to you by Gatorade.
No, they didn't let us have Gatorade either. What's up, Jude? What's up, JJ?
What up, Marsha? Hello, everybody.
What up, y'all?
All right. We got some good stuff in store. All these Wednesdays, I get a lot of people reaching out that are really hype about these Wednesday trainings. So that's cool. I always appreciate the feedback from people, especially like one-on-one, because then we can keep optimizing them. So our whole goal of these is help you become the most elite version of yourself. And then you can go change the world. And then we can work on really cool stuff together and work on projects down the road and things like that. So let's get after it, Drake.
Yeah.
You want to kick us off, Drake? Or I got a couple things, but
yeah. I'll kick us off. So, we're talking about making connections in person, because I don't know about you, but when COVID started, when all this started, right? What I noticed was that a lot of people were afraid to meet in person. Even here in Florida, it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. People would be like, well, I have a grandmother. I'm like, yeah, me too, right? And so it was really interesting because a lot of people, for literally an entire year, now not necessarily down here, but for an entire year, a lot of people stayed away from each other. They stayed away from meeting in person. And even big corporations, big companies, they stayed away from seeing each other in person. And even they put their employees to not see each other in person as well, right? And so what that did actually was that created a vacuum. That created a vacuum for those who did want to meet in person. And I'll tell you one thing that I did. During that time, I created a meetup group, right? Where I said we would meet in person. We would meet in person. And this is for all those who are tired of sitting in their homes, of staying away from each other, of not meeting in person. And do you know what? People join that group like hotcakes. They joined that group like hotcakes because they were basically starved for that. Do you know this? In order to live, they did this experiment with little babies where they gave them everything that they needed, except for physical touch. And those babies died. That means you need to have physical touch and have people within your physical environment, not virtual, not just on a screen, not just on your computer, on your phone, whatever, right? You need to have real physical in-person connections with people and, hug people. They say you're supposed to have at least 8 hugs a day, maybe more, right? But at least 8 hugs a day, right? I get a lot of hugs from my wife every day. Right? No physical touch screen, right? But it's vital. You crave it as a human being. You need this to live, just to live, to have physical connections. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. How to create more physical connections and how to get people to actually keep coming back for those connections. High quality connections, not just running out into a crowd and slapping everybody you see and get, touch 10,000 people today. No. We're talking about real in-person, high quality physical connections where you make a relationship with someone and they look at you and they go, you know what? I'm glad to have met you. And that develops into even more and more and more and more, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And, just so you're aware, if you're not already going to the event, if you don't already have your ticket, this is a great place to meet us in person, to get real physical in-person connections. If you like the content that we put out, if you like what we're talking about, if you like this, man, you'll love us even more in person, right? Man, Jude, I see Jude's face. He's smiling, right? Meeting Jude in person for the first time, I was like, dude, this is my guy. This is my guy. Like, it just automatically, without even him having to say a word, I was like, Jude is really cool. Like, through the screen, he's like, all right, but in person, I was like, wow. Yeah, in the Aaliyah shirt. That's right. That's right. He was wearing that Aaliyah shirt. That's right. Right. So, okay. I also want to share this. I just got an ad for something, which I thought was the most ridiculous thing. And I don't even know if it was literally an ad or if it was just on the Instagram feed or what, right? But, sometimes people will send me videos for me to react to, right? I looked at this video. You know what it was? It was somebody had downloaded some app and they were like, hey, Sheila, how are you today? Like, they woke up, literally turned over, looked at their phone, and there's this virtual avatar on the phone. And they're like, oh, hello, I'm Sheila. I'm here to help you today. What would you like to do? And, oh, Sheila, just tell me a story, right? And Sheila's like, oh, one time I saw a Bigfoot and it was huge. And he's like, oh, Sheila, how do you know it was huge? I saw it with my own eyes. This is literally, they're advertising to young people. And then they had it do like, oh, give me a recipe for a smoothie. Like, clearly, if you need a recipe for a smoothie, you're not doing it right. Mitch takes no recipes for smoothies. He just throws everything in the
world
blender.
class.
If you've ever seen Mitchell make a smoothie, Jess sent a video like last week. And I saw this thing and I said, what the hell is that? Mitchell looks like he's making smoothies for the entire neighborhood. It's got so much stuff in it. I'm like, I don't know if that's fruit, if that's ice cream, if that's veggies. What is going on?
No veggies. Fruit
Okay,
and ice
right,
cream,
okay.
yes.
Okay. So,
Superfoods.
but Mitch makes these tremendous smoothies. You don't need a recipe for smoothies. And so what I'm saying is, this ad was obviously geared towards young people, right? Who may not be going out and developing real friendships. And this is crucial. This is absolutely critical in today's world, because if you consider it, right? Young people today are growing up in an era where they're not getting those in-person connections, and they're not developing that skill of how to meet somebody in person and connect with them, right? So imagine this, if you are the one who has that skill to actually connect with people, they look at you and they're like, wow, how are you doing this? In a sea of people who have no idea how to even talk to someone, who's going to be perceived as being a valuable person that people will gravitate towards? You, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Mitch, I'm going to kick it back over to you.
Heck yeah.
Take it away.
Thanks, Drake. Yeah, some of these ads and the AI stuff is just getting real wild. And it's so easy to then go into judgment. Like, oh, I can't believe people are so dumb. They would, want an avatar friend and whatever. But where's the compassion in that? Like, where's the real giving? Where, in the words of the great Black Eyed Peas, where's the love? Again, it's so easy to judge other people, but we're doing the same thing in a different way. We're participating in the same pattern in a different way. It's like, we just want it to be easy. We just don't want to get, creative with it. So you met the Black Eyed Peas, Drake, really?
I met the Black Eyed Peas.
If you're not live with us, we're going to make some references to the chat, because the chat is always lit and any self-perfected Zoom. So if you're confused, you should just be on live next week. Okay. So here's a couple.
Look at this handsome young man. Just here's the reason why we do this, right? Yeah. This handsome young man next to the guy in the yellow sweater and the yellow hoodie, right?
That sounds pretty handsome too.
Jeez. But look at that. Okay, consider this. Kids his age growing up where parents are afraid to connect with others. They're afraid to actually have a relationship outside of their own home. They're not learning that. A kid like this, though, he is learning that. Why? Because I see his dad going and connecting with people in person on a weekly basis. I see him doing that, right? And what that child's going to learn and develop is how to connect with other people. And not only that, how to do it effectively, right? And of course, we know that he's already a genius in the making.
Yesterday, he was live with me on Sandra live, and people that was watching the live was sending letters on the screen, and he was reading it on live.
Wow.
And there are a bunch of different others letters, like different writing on the screen, but he's able to recognize where we want him to read. And they send you, he's like, U, and R, C, D. Like, it's mind-blowing.
That's super cool.
Juanila's going to have no issue making millions and millions of dollars and creating awesome community. Like,
that's right.
Like, it's confidence from day one, basically. So that's great. All right. So everyone, we all want to see community grow. We all want to see this community grow. People that are like-minded, people that want to see the world be a better place, realize that you got to get good at making money to do that. You got to have great relationships to do that. It's like, we have the thing that people want. So now, how do we get more people to come and join us? The billion-dollar question, okay? And Drake and I are going to riff back and forth with some really valuable stuff here, okay? So I would grab pen and paper, write some stuff down, or type it, because this is going to just be really helpful. So first, if you're not clear on the type of event that you want to get the high-quality people to, one option is what's called a self-perfected clubhouse. We have these all over. We have them in 22, 23 cities around the world, from Berlin to all over Canada, all over US. Like, Cameroon had one, I think. Like they're all over. Gaetan and Joel run theirs in Montreal. JJ runs his in San Jose area. There's so much good stuff. So if you're looking for the type of event where you can host it and leverage the brand of Self-Perfected, which is worldwide, reach out to Drake or myself. We can show you some ideas for that. Now, if you have other types of events too, because I know a lot of people here also like host a cash flow game night or book clubs or whatever, you can use this all for it. Okay, so this works with many types of events. Now, here's part one. This is kind of in order, but I'm just going to throw some things out there. First is, what type of people do you want there? What type of people do you want to be at the event? And the more clear you are on that, the more clear your messaging. Pretty obvious. Next part is, what's the vision you have for your event? Like, what does it look like in the next month? What does it look like in a year? What does it look like in 5 years? If you're starting events or you're running your events, I know a lot of you already have events you're doing, but you don't see where it's going to be in 5 years, I'm going to encourage you, take a couple minutes and actually write this out. Like, what is the venue? Is it at a nice country club in the future? Do you serve a meal at your events in the future? Like, is it at your home? Do people bring food? People play games? People bring their families? Is it hype? Is there loud music? Is there flashing lights? What does the event look like? Definitely worth taking some time. You don't have the time here to do it, but, get some stuff written out. And Drake and I will share some examples too of what we've seen work really well. But that way, again, as you're the leader of the event, the clearer your vision, the clearer people are, and they'll show up. Next, you already probably got some people who have come to your events or you've met at other events. I'm going to encourage you to have a list in your phone, like your notes app or wherever you keep your notes, and have an ongoing running list of all of the people that have come or would be a good fit. And if you really sat down and really built it out, and let's say you go to 3 networking events per month, you got your warm network and colleagues, and then you also have hosted, let's say, 5 events so far. You probably got like 50 some people on that list. And then every single time you host an event, reach out to them, make personal connection, have that rapport. People will not come to your event if they don't have rapport. Super pro tip. If people don't feel like they have familiarity or trust or some sort of value, they're going to ghost you. So a really cool way to build that rapport is like figure out what they're into, relate it back to that. If you know that they're like an author and they like to write books, be like, hey, like, you should come, check out our event. You get some good ideas for your next upcoming book, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Why that would be enough to get someone to come if you had that rapport?
And just to clarify there, when you're talking about your vision for the next year, right? What you need to clarify for yourself is, what value are the people who are attending your event, what value are they going to get? If you're clear on the value of what they're going to get, you can express that more clearly, right? So what kind of people you want at your event. And like Mitch was saying, an event could be a Self-Perfected clubhouse. It could be a cash flow night. It could be, whatever the event is. It could be really big. It could be, just a few people, right? But if you know what kind of people you want at your event, what value they're going to get out of it, then when you see someone, hey, this is the kind of person that I want at my event, and you recognize them. And then you start sharing the value that you give at the event, and they'll recognize you. You get it? Right? And then, of course, you have your vision for, okay, but I'm looking to expand this more, et cetera. And that's something to keep key in mind. Okay. So just in case you missed that part, when Mitch was talking about the vision, you're also clarifying what's the value you're giving at that event.
Yes. And some examples of that to probe some ideas for you is like, you're going to help them have breakthroughs. You're going to help them realize the purpose of their life. You're going to help them make progress towards their goals. You're going to help them make quality connections with like-minded people in their community. Like there's so many different things. I mean, you can make a list of probably 30 different outcomes for them. You'll find probably your top 2 or 3, but the more you can have, the better, because that will literally emanate from you. People just feel it and they'll just like being around you just because you're clear on that within yourself. They'll feel comfortable around you. You know, they're going to have a lot of fun too. Like who doesn't like to go have fun? You know, if you're doing it on a Saturday afternoon or whatever, but they have fun and they learn. People love that stuff. They build community. Okay. So now you got your vision, you know what type of people you want there. You got clear outcomes, all that good stuff. You got your list of people that you've invited in the past. And when you reach out to them, you have a good plan. So they're not just feeling like they're being spammed with a message, you know, but it's like a genuine, like, hey, we haven't chatted in a while. How's it going with this? Oh, hey, heads up, Saturday, we have this event. Would love to see you there. Do you think you'll make it? That little personal touch takes you an extra 30 seconds, goes a really long way. Then next, promote hard. Like if you're not promoting, it ain't going to grow. So you got to be your biggest advocate right away. And then as you have other people like Drake has also, you know, Dylan and Alan and some other guys that are at your clubhouse.
Yeah.
And you empower them to help you promote, you know, and some get it more than others, but like, this is a pretty big point here. I'm going to blend this into the next one is just like here in Self-Perfected. We say this a lot. A lot of people will look at like me or Drake or Cameron or whoever, and they're like, oh, this is so cool what you guys are doing. It's like, no. Like, look at this community as it's us. In 2 months, you apply yourself and you're really after it. You could host a Wednesday night training. You could host a Friday night Self-Perfected call.
And also make sure you have that shift for yourself as well. You're not building this for you, you're building this for us, for them as well. Does that make sense? So if you're the one hosting it, you're building it for them as well. They're going to get benefit out of it. That's why you're building it. And so it really is this thing of, hey, they're supporting you and supporting us as a community, and you're supporting them, building them, us as a community. Does that make sense?
Bingo. Yeah. So then that carries over into then the promotion, as well as at the event, as well as after the event, and how people talk about it. And when you have a couple people that are like those really good networkers, they're more like the fire personality type. Oh man, it's amazing. Because then they'll bring 7 people to some events. Like, this is awesome. And that leads to more people, leads to more people. That's led to literally different marriages have come out of our in-person events. Like couples have met because of someone's referral and another one's referral, and then they met, they started dating, now they're literally married and have kids. Think of the impact of that. Think of the legacy of that. How cool is that?
That is literally what Self-Perfected has done. What Self-Perfected, the group is. It's literally, okay, you could look at it and be like, oh, Mitchell, you built this. I love what you're building. Or Drake or Cameron or whoever, right? But literally, what that's allowed to have happen is create families. So it is for you as much as it is for all of us. Literally, we all benefit from it, right? And maybe, I know we talk about it every single time, our purpose, right, is to create a world that's best for all. And so this is literally within that purpose. It's not just a far off in the future thing, but as we grow this community, it has more and more and more of an effect on each individual and the communities around each individual as well. So we are making an impact together as the world. But that requires us all to participate as much as possible, right? I was listening to something, and it's actually, someone had posed this question, and they said, okay, so obviously we need self-honesty, and it was actually a question to Bernard, right? Bernard Pullman. If you haven't listened to any of his audios, we'll leave one in the chat. We'll leave a link in the chat, right? But someone had posed this question of, hey, in self-honesty, right? That's one of the things, one of the principles that got to hold on to, right? said, yeah, but you got to be self-honest about what you can make an impact with, right? And so if you're thinking in your mind, oh, me, I'm going to change the world, just me, right? Being self-honest would be making an impact in your community, in your life, in your relationships, right? That's what you can direct. But together as a group, that's where we can make the real impact globally. That's where we can make the real impact in major communities, bigger and bigger and bigger together, right? That's why it's so important to build a community, to build your group, to have these events, to have these in-person connections, because then together you can make even bigger impacts than what you would be able to do on your own.
That is so good. I'm so glad you brought that up. So here's the one other like tactic that will make a world of difference for your events. So people leave and they hug you before they leave and they're like, thank you, I'll see you at the next one. And they happily give you their name and all that stuff, right? Who here wants that? When they're leaving the event, they're like, thank you. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I got to tell my friends. I'm so excited. Okay, you got to have a ritual for how you run the event. And here's a way you can prompt yourself for it. You could say, what would make this be the best event yet? ? And just a couple things, just find the key pillars, like a little bit of background music, making sure someone's at the door, so you shake their hand when they come in, making sure that there's enough seating, making sure that there's some ground rules, like you could say, hey, if anyone has to use their phone, if you could step out, that'd be great, because we want to all be present here, for the next hour. Pre-framing it, tons of cool stuff. And this is recorded, so you can come back to this if you need to. But just have a ritual for how the event goes, and make sure you have your personal ritual so you show up as your best self. Make sure you get there a little early. If you're stuck in traffic and you can't find parking, and then you show up and you're all weird and frazzled, and now they're coming in, or you're late and people beat you there. Way different than if you showed up 20 minutes early. You're pumped up. You're looking forward to seeing everyone. You got a real genuine smile on your face. You're like, hey, so great to see you. And you give them a hug when they come in. See how that's a world of difference? How they say first impressions like mean a ton, or whatever the phrase is. It's like, that's put that one on a shirt. First impressions mean a ton.
First impressions mean a ton, or whatever.
Nice. Yeah. That's a $1 billion quote. All right. So that though is how you give people that experience. And the purpose of the event really should be, to help people have that breakthrough, have that inspirational moment where then they want to connect one-on-one further with you. And then you can really support them to take on this process. Yet it's like that old Maya Angelou quote of, people will forget what you say, but they won't forget how you made them feel. So simple. I'm sure we've all heard that many times, but it's so true. They will never forget how you made them feel. And you can now use that to really cultivate a super amazing meetup, an event, whatever you call it. But now there's two other parts I want to touch on here. Drake, do you have anything in terms of like the tactics you wanted to add? Because I have a pretty cool exercise for us to do.
As far as tactics go, just being someone who, you guys have read How to Win Friends and Friends People, How to Win Fluence and Friends People. You guys have read that, right? No, but How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm looking at it. I'm literally looking at it.
Juanilo's read that book already.
Yeah. Look at that. He's influencing that guy for sure. But being genuine, being a real person, right? People love that. And also, so this is kind of like a double-sided thing here. Being real, but also being upbeat, being like someone people want to connect with. Both of those things, right? You can be real and bring your energetic self out, right? It's okay. You don't have to be like this. I'm being real. This is who I am. And if you don't like it, I guess you won't like my clubhouse. Like, you can be real and like, hey, how's it going? Like, that's okay. be a little bit energetic, have fun at your own clubhouse, right? It's okay to have fun because when you have fun, other people can have fun too, right? That's really all I wanted to add to that. Let's keep going.
Heck yeah. Okay. So here's two like exercises that will really bring it full circle to help you show up as the best leader that you can be for your event and your community. So first, actually, I'll just explain this through a little analogy and you just write down any takeaways you might have from this. Okay. So let me tell you a quick story about a guy who's a fisherman. And he knew he wanted to fish so he could provide fish for his family. You know, he had to do it. So he goes out there, you know, just from the shore on a lake by his house. You know, he's throwing his, you know, casting his fishing rod into the water and there's like no fish and like nothing's biting for a whole day. And he does it again the next day and he's like, there's no fish. Like this sucks. Like no fish are biting. Maybe the fish are gone. Maybe the bait isn't good. Maybe my technique is off. Maybe I should just give up. Maybe fishing isn't for me. I know I wanted the fish, but like, oh, this sucks. But then keeps going. Then one day he learns how he can have a different piece of bait on there. And all of a sudden, you know, he gets a little nibble, but then the fish goes off and he's like, dang it. Thought I was going to figure it out. So frustrated. Sucks. He goes into pity and doubt and even gets depressed a little bit. He's like, no, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. So he's, you know, using his fishing thing. And all of a sudden he, you know, catches his first few fish. He's like, okay, cool. Then he keeps going. And then he has another day where he doesn't get any fish. It's like, wait, I thought because I started getting fish, I was just going to always get fish. Now he's pissed again. He's even getting anxious. He's even forgetting to breathe. You know, and he's like, I know I should forgive myself for having these feelings, but like, nah, this just sucks. I don't even want to. He's all pissed. But he keeps going. All of a sudden, he starts to get the hang of fishing. It's pretty cool. Right. But then he's like, okay, I'm at this one lake, but hey, what if I like went to the ocean? You know, how many more fish could I get? I could get better at this. Then he goes to the ocean. Sure enough, it's a little bit hard. Different, you know, currents and different, you know, time of day that the fish are out and everything. And he's going after it but he gets better and better. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to take a boat out, but he doesn't have much money. So he has to rent a boat. And then he's out there and he's getting more fish. And then all of a sudden he's able to buy a boat. And that's not just him. He's got a whole fleet of boats. So he's got fishing rods over here. They're getting all this fish. It's amazing. He accomplished his goal and he lived happily ever after.
And that guy was Jesus. I'm just messing.
And that is how you become successful. So simple. But it's a consistency. It's a persistence. It wasn't day one. He was on the ocean catching the fish. Even after some success, he still got pissed. But you just keep going and going and going and going and going, and you figure it out. And in the exact same way with your events, you just keep going and going and going and going and going, and you never give up, you never give in, and you figure it out. And you get feedback, and you can model people who have success, and you can get, you know, hang out on the shore with the people who understand how to fish, and you'll learn faster, and, you know, you can do different things. But it's on you to know what you're after and why. If you can just remind yourself of that every day, what you're after and why, have it written down, put it on the wallpaper on your phone. You know, if you got TechnoTutor, put it through your TechnoTutor often. You know, put it on a little note card. But what you're doing, because now your mind, you know what your mind can focus on. But then the why gives you that fuel, the juice, because you're gonna fail sometimes. When you keep going and keep going, all of a sudden you become really, really good at fishing. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I just want to watch you fish. I want to learn from you. Isn't that what we're doing? Aren't we fishing for people?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We are fishermen of men.
Yes, fishermen and fisherwomen. Helping more fishermen and more fisherwomen.
Can I share a story on that real quick?
Yeah, please.
So one thing I've learned from gardening is that it resembles life, because it is life. It's like if you plant trees, if you like plant some trees, right? You want to plant some trees, right? You you can't rush it. It's just that consistent action every single day to keep growing. And then the consistent watering, like the Chinese bamboo tree, right? It's like that's why it's that one activity every single day. And I think about it because I've been in the music game for 10 years now. Like it's literally been 10 years. It doesn't feel like it, right? But it's just because I just never stop. And it finally clicked to me. It's like, yeah, because it's a business, right? Like you've been building like a business in the music business, but like, why don't you think about building other things like that, right? Like you can do it, right? It never clicked. But now understanding, like, that's right. You have to do the things that got you there, that consistent everyday thing, so that when you get there, you don't fall off. You never stop. You just keep doing that consistent action every single day and then stacking it. It's like gardening. You don't know when it's going to grow, but all of a sudden it just grows. You're like, wow, I made this grow because I never stopped watering the plant.
Yes. And do different seeds grow at different times with different cycles and different timelines? Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So a cool question you could ask yourself is like, what does a master gardener think? Or if you like the example of the fishing, what does a master fisherman think? Or if you want to run the most epic events ever, where you get people coming every single Saturday and they invite 10 of their friends every time, you can think, what would a master promoter think about this? And when you can step into that identity for a moment, it can help you come up with really helpful ideas.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
just
that's
going
the
off of
question.
that gardening analogy, even even the best gardens go through winter, right? And sometimes they have some frost, but if you're experienced, is a hard freeze going to kill your garden, or is it just going to make it more hardy, right? Gaitan, I know you wanted to ask something.
Yeah. Today I have been chatting with Avery for like an hour, and what I got out of it is about the story. Like when right now I'm working on something, I'm working with somebody, right? And that person have better story than me. That's the only reason why he's able to get 300 people in this organization every single month. Wow. Yeah.
Better stories than you said?
And the thing, the homework is to figure out a better story than he got. And I have the great line, the headlines of those stories, like the big point of those stories. But maybe reach out to Drake or Mitchell to work this out. But I sincerely figure out that the problem, me on my point in my networking, what I need, what is missing, and if we can have a training on this, it would be great, is the story. The story that you tell people. Jesus sold the whole planet on his story. And pastors are selling people on their particular story. So my story is not straight yet. Like, for example, I have one person telling me, I have 6 kids. I've seen your kids yesterday during the live, and I want you to help me. And I'm just afraid to respond to that person because I don't know where to start.
Gaitan, can I share a story with you?
Of course.
All right, here's a great story to share, right? We can solve that right now. So you think about the garden, right? And this is how you can present it to the guy. If you really think about a garden and look at a garden, you can't just snip the weeds, right? Because the weeds compete with the plant for water. And if you water the plant, then the weeds also grow. you actually have to dig into the surface and uproot the weeds in order to get rid of the weeds, right? In order to grow your plant. So in order to grow, you actually need to go in depth and to remove the weeds. You can't just snip it. You have to uproot it out.
That is a great story.
That's a good story. I like that story.
Yeah.
And I love that story. So, and I'm gonna use that story. So the whole thing is the story that people join you with in your organization in order to make money and solve real problem in this world. And if I have 3 seconds with somebody, if I go to Costco parking and I want to give my business card to people and tell them that 3 lines, and they have to remember me and call me back, or me taking their details and call them and invite them to my clubhouse. Yes. If like that story, that's what I want to figure out.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that. We can do that. Definitely connect with me or Mitch. Send a direct message.
Yeah, you both, just you after this call and next and Mitchell then.
Yeah.
You both. I can have it all, right? I can have it all.
Send a DM. Send a DM. But then, yeah, we can also do one of these on stories as well. That'd be fun. Mitch, did you have anything
Okay.
that you wanted to wrap it up with?
Yeah, that was great, Gaetan. Power of stories. I remember when I used to underestimate the power of stories, and then I understood the power of stories, and then my life was never the same again.
Tell me the rest of the story.
And then I lived happily ever after. Okay, here's the last part. I know we got 3 minutes left, so I'm just going to share this with you. You're welcome, Gaetan. So here's the thing. If we're not doing, okay, this is from the frame of looking at pain and pleasure as big motivators for ourselves. Again, I in this group and this process is to get yourself to just be driven by principle as who you are. With that being said, there's like some stairs, there's like training wheels to help you get there. And the more you can link pleasure and the more you can work with the pain so that it's motivating and not too much that it demotivates you, that's an important point, okay? So I'm just going to share this. This is the main final closing point is if you're not, okay, think of your most thing that you love to do. Like what is some stuff you love to do? Like Gaetan, maybe it's hanging out with Juanilo, just talking to him. JJ, it might be rapping, playing basketball, Jude might be creating music, whatever, where you just love to do the thing. Like for me, one of the things is reading. The other thing is hanging out with my wife and my son. And I just love to do that. And think about all the reasons why you love to do that and how you would express that to yourself and how you would associate that. Like it's easy, it's effortless, it's fun. I get breakthroughs, it's creative. It's so cool. Now think of you hosting events, promoting the event, talking about the event, making the flyer for the event, inviting people to the event, having people at the event, afterwards, the aftermath, all the good stuff with it. And how you could now link all the stuff you love about the thing that you love, but now stack that. Just imagine, what if you felt all of that about events? How would your life be different? How would it feel? What if the same love and passion you felt for whatever the thing is or the things that you love, you felt that with events? What would that do for you? So that'll be a fun thing that you could start to stack. And especially for those of you who have TechnoTutor, you get to do that. You get to literally program that in. Then you got to go apply it. Okay. So that is from my end. The things like this is what we've been doing to literally help create this community where we've had over 5,720 people. We did the math that have come through and have made high quality in-person connections. And we're only going to keep growing. So we're excited for you to be part of that and for you to benefit from that and use that to make yourself a ton of money, have freedom, not just financial freedom, but also freedom of options of what you do, time freedom, all that good stuff. Now, Drake, I'm going to pass back to you and I'll cue up the music. So do you have a final closing thought?
One last thing, and I'll keep it really brief, is if you want people to come to you and to connect with you, actually, you have to stand out. You have to stand out, right? Because if you're just like everyone else, how are they going to notice you? How are they going to recognize you, right? Now, what that means is like in a world where everyone is trying to, oh, I can hear my voice. Yeah, in a world where everyone is closing up their doors and hiding away from people, the person who says, hey, let's meet in person stands out. That does not mean you have to do some grandiose thing or anything like that. You just have to be willing to stand up, stand out, speak out, right? Say what's real, be real. If you're willing to do that in today's world, that is so valuable. Just being real is so valuable because people are so used to seeing some fake presentation on Instagram, on Facebook, on their social media. They're so used to getting just like the party line. Tell them something real. Tell them what's real from you. And that will support you to stand out and them to see you and connect with you. That is it for today.
Let's go. All right. If ever we're gonna end on a high note. It's always fun to end on a fucking peak. You know, we could just be like, oh, that was good, guys. Okay. See you on Friday. Bye, guys. We could do that. This is self-perfected, y'all. Okay. We're here for perfection. So I want y'all, if you're down to apply this and build your communities into legendary, like unstoppable communities, okay, please unmute and just give a yeah, and then let's make some crazy sound. All right, let's hear it. Everyone unmute.
Ah, fucking yeah!
All right.
Let's get it!
See y'all on Friday. Share this with people. If you got value from this, please just share the group. Share the group, share the group, share the group. The world needs it. All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.